Da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-dum. The children in London now, honest to God. I mean, what is happening into East London? It's unbelievable.
Why East London? Could be anywhere.
It's mainly where all the trouble is.
Tower Hamlets.
Yeah, exactly. It's East London, isn't
East
it?
London, isn't it? Hang on, who's the MP for Tower Hamlets?
Probably Labour.
So that's what you've got to do. You've got to associate problems with Labour, and it's got to be in it.
Bless them.
Yeah, can't help it, can they?
Yeah.
What you got there then?
Crisps.
Lightly salted Tyrrells. They're actually good, actually. I don't know if you ever tried them, guys. If you haven't, I suggest you do.
When I was saying Grand Prix, it's Grand Prix. Oh my God,
Grand Prix.
Oh, how embarrassing!
Grand Prix.
I'm gonna. Oh,
well, it is Grand Prix. That's how it's spelled.
I know. It's just a. Have a crisp.
Nah, I'm alright, mate. Yeah, go on then. Nah, I'm alright. Yeah, nah. What I like. Other viewers, explain. Do what you know, like those things you get on the internet where you know, like you do a an opening. Is it an opening? Like an unboxing. That's it. That's what I'm thinking about. You unbox those Tyrrells, Grem. Tell us about them.
Yeah, very nice crisp.
We've got the yucca plant here as well. Look. Actually, I think it kind of.
There's a very light, oily aftertaste, but it goes near enough straight away.
Is that after you swallowed it?
No, yeah, after you swallowed it.
Right.
Bit oily.
Right.
But they say it's good for your skin. You can't put that on.
Why? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, I've done it much better myself. Look at that. Does it move? No, it's rigid. Oh, yes. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And I got a tan on the back. Look at that.
Yeah, it's right.
Yucca plant. Yucca.
I was singing to this earlier on.
Do you know, actually, people do get a lot from talking to plants.
Yeah, Prince Charles does.
Does he?
Yeah.
You can. No, it's very therapeutic. I haven't tried it, actually. Is it? Have you?
No, I have.
What's it like?
It is very, 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 very.
Do you have to repeat yourself?
Yeah, very. I like to write a reply on the back.
Right. That will be it then, guys. Folks, the world, man and woman, child or beast.
If you're hungry, get a packet of these. Very nice.
Yeah, and the proceeds are not. What's that mean? I don't even know what I'm saying.
We are not promoting.
Yeah, we're not.
I'm just saying personally, I really like these crisps.
Yeah, because they are Tyrrells, and I would not eat anything otherwise. I mean, I eat things other than Tyrrells. I mean, I'm just talking crisps. If it was a choice, I would eat Tyrrell's crisps. But if I wasn't to eat Tyrrell's crisps, I'd probably eat McCoy's crisps. But majority of the time I eat Tyrrell's because Tyrrell's is what I enjoy. Graham, what is your favourite crisp?
Pickled onion, Monster Munch.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They're sharp though, aren't they?
No, when they used to be sharp, they're not sharp anymore now because it's a fear that it might harm the children, so they've weakened everything.
Yeah.
You don't get as many in a packet either, and they used to be massive. Might be claws.
See you later, guys.
God bless.
Anyway, we're here. Welcome. Tonight is 6 o'clock and it's the 12th of It's the 12th of December. We'll get there in a minute. The 12th of December.
Technical hitches, everybody.
Technical hitches. Yeah, it's the 12th of December. It's 6 o'clock this evening, and this is. Now, I thought it was our first live. If you watched the pre-video to tonight's live, you would have heard me say it's our first live this year. It's not. Graham, is it? It's actually, you said third.
I think it's the third. It could be the fourth. It's definitely not the fifth.
It's definitely not the fifth.
Or the sixth.
Or the second.
Or the 10th.
So I'm going to go with 3, yeah? You're going to go with 3?
Yes, we're not going with 15. We're going to go with 3.
3. So I don't remember 3 though. But we'll go with 3. We'll say
I can remember August, and I can remember 2 more.
Wasn't it one in March, wasn't there? Was it actually alive? It was, wasn't it?
No, I'm going from August.
You're going from August?
So it might be 4 we've done then.
Could have been 4.
4.
Right, so...
COVID being the main issue. And myself.
Yeah.
Apologies there again, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you, by the way.
Yes.
I like
it's December we're in.
I like the deer ears.
Oh, do you like them?
Are they antlers? They are antlers.
Yeah, I had them installed last Tuesday.
Yeah. Are they heavy?
Very heavy.
Well, anyway, thanks for coming back.
I get excited when people pull on them. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. At least you know you're still here, and
yes, I'm still alive.
If you can feel something, you know you're still breathing and living. So that's good, isn't it? Pain is a good thing.
Certainly is.
So here we are. It's like I said.
Well, if you haven't got pain, then you're not living.
No, not at all. But I'm gonna have another go. So 12th of December. It's nearly Christmas. It's 6 o'clock, or just gone 6 o'clock, and we are here to talk to you, and hopefully you with us, because it's a live show and it's our first live since August. However, it's our 4th live this year.
That is incorrect.
Is it? Whoops! Are you sure about that?
Yes, it is. Because we done a live about a month ago.
Yeah.
And we done one more live before that, which was September. No, August. It must be the. It is the 4th.
It is the 4th.
4th one.
Yeah. I think that's what I said.
5th since March, if you want to go back to March, but I was going from August.
Oh, right.
We're going to be talking about this for the next half an hour.
Half an hour. We've already 4 minutes into our live stream. Only 4 minutes. It feels like forever, doesn't it?
When you start the show and no one can see the hosts.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what happened there actually. I have to say this is actually, Graham, the system or
your phone went to sleep.
Yeah, but I think actually the camera that we're using at the moment is the first time we've used this particular setup on a live stream. A lot of what we've done recently has been pre-recorded, and it's easy for pre-recorded. You make a mistake, you just go back and do it again. Whereas actually this is live. We've got no scripts, by the way. We've got our drinks though. I've got these iced coffees. It's a mocha iced coffee, and Graham's got his cola.
Cola signature mixes.
Yeah, no affiliation to the Ben&Grem Show, obviously. So we're not trying to advertise.
Just cola.
We all know who they are anyway. You don't need us to advertise them.
We're not saying Coca-Cola. Well,
No.
I just did. Never mind. Yes, I have a nice coffee as well.
Has
yeah.
got a mixture of everything. We've also got a plant here, guys. It's hanging. It looks like it's floating. All right. It's not. It is actually on a platform, but it's slightly adjacent to the floor.
Well, we thought we would like sort of smarten the show up a bit, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. We did have a yucca plant with green leaves, but it didn't really work with the green screen, did it?
No, we can get the yucca plant.
Let's have a look. We'll have a look. Yeah, we'll have a little look. Why not? I mean, it's a lovely plant.
Look at this.
Home bargains, everybody.
Yeah, it's a nice plant, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah. Got a bit of girth there, isn't it?
Certainly has. I wonder what stallion that came from. Bum bum.
Is it pine? Is it? What is yucca? What is the bark? Is it pine? Is it, or is it? Is it?
No, it's not pine.
What is it then? Not pine.
Yucca. Answers, please, on a postcard.
Answers, please. Yeah, please do. If you are watching or you've just tuned in, please put a comment in the comment section below, and like and share, obviously, because we would like to have your involvement to the show, because that's the whole purpose of it being live, isn't it? We get to talk, you get to speak, we all get to communicate. And the purpose, Graham, by this live tonight is that we are going to not only talk about the current situation of what's happening in the world, but also, and the UK that is, but also the things that we've been talking about over the last 2 episodes. which was probably COVID as well, wasn't it? And a few other things. So where do we start, Graham? What is it now? It's 7 minutes past 6, and it's probably just about time we got this show on the road.
Well, we've got some breaking news. The Prime Minister's will be going live to the nation at 8 p.m. tonight in regards to boostering out the need for everyone to have the booster.
Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. People will have the confidence to stay nearer the place they grew up, to start business, and business will have the confidence to invest.
Vaccination. It's been proven to work extremely well with the new variant, up to 70-something%. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's around about 70%.
70%. 70% protection, isn't it, on the new Omicron variant?
But it's working, so that's the positive thing. But there will be individuals out there that are still a bit dubious about whether to have the vaccination, the booster, let alone the other two, because of family, traits where a close member of a blood relation has had severe medical reactions to it and possibly could have ended their life. So there is some concern out there for some people. Thankfully, it's a minority, and it's just a shame that, I'm sorry to say this, guys, but the NHS isn't as good as it used to be.
No, sadly not.
Because this new variant and with COVID, as of course, it's just taken over, and it's something that no one's used to. It's new, as I just said, and it's going to take time to get to know the ins and outs of it.
To start business, and business will have the confidence to invest.
Well, yeah, I think there's some truth in that. But so let's just sort of summarise what we do know. And if anybody wants to come on the conversation with us, then please do pop a comment in the comment box, and we'll talk away, and we will certainly talk about your particular comments as well. So yeah, what do we know at the moment, Graham? What we do know is we have a new variant called Omicron. It's going to be one of many variants. We must be realistic about this. We probably will see, as we know already, that COVID's can be around for quite a few years from now, and obviously be differentiating between severities.
I think after the shock that there's a new variant and it's got 30 plus mutations, whatever it means to the average person out there, and then noticing that, they really don't get that sick, and they're happy and I'm happy.
They're happy.
We're all happy, because really, if you have been through Delta, this is totally different.
What we do know is Omicron is not life-threatening as we know it at this moment in time.
As it was first thought.
Unfortunately, and it's great to say at this stage, although we've had somewhere in the region of 600 odd cases, it's increasing. Don't get me wrong, we know that there has been no deaths, which is fantastic.
It's very, very good to get to that figure of 600. And sadly to say, if there is one or two deaths following that, it's sad to say, but it's 1 and 2 deaths is too many, I know, but it's 1 or 2, and it may be a relation of mine, which will be very sad for me to cope with, and my family.
Yeah. Well, somebody in the comments can possibly correct me on the situation of figures, because I'm going to say now that what we do understand to know, and I can't say what the exact figure is, so I'm just telling you what I knew it was. And if it has changed, you please come back to me on this. So, as I said, this is a live show. So, what we do know is the population of the United Kingdom is somewhere in the region of around 64.5 million people. And we're talking around 600 cases. Now, don't get me wrong, we know they are still rising, even if we sort of understood by the morning it's
600 cases that we know of.
And yeah, even if we said, by maybe the morning, tomorrow morning, so Sunday morning, the 13th of December, we end up with 1,000 cases. that's still a drop in the ocean, isn't it? With no deaths as well. To the comparison,
if it gets to 1,000 and no deaths, then it's amazing.
Well, it's amazing.
It's good news.
And I think maybe, I mean, that's the line or trajectory that we're going on at the moment.
It means the vaccinations are taking effect and doing what they were feared not to be doing. Literally less than a month ago, there was major concern to do with both of the vaccinations.
Yes. So what we do know is, so for those of you, and many of you of which in this country now at least, we can say fairly that most of which have been vaccinated. We have had the first vaccination and of course the second vaccination. So many of us of which are vaccinated. So that does protect us quite significantly.
I have my booster coming up on Wednesday.
Omicron. Yes.
So
you have your booster coming up for Wednesday. So yes. So maybe that is actually quite significant then when we talk of cases. So what we know is, yes, around about 600,000 cases. Of course, no deaths. Now, would that be different, of course, if we did not have any vaccination programs already? So given that we've all been doubly vaccinated.
600 cases.
Did I say 600?
You said 600,000.
I did. So it's actually 600 cases. It's nothing really. It's a lot to me and you. When you say it, it's a lot of cases, but it's not really, is it? I mean, if you think about it, how many people have got the cold and flu right now? I mean, if we were going to be starting to count
flu,
yeah, do you remember that?
No, I don't. I've never.
I think we were quite young when that was around, weren't we?
Can't really think. What is a cold and flu?
No, isn't it when you get like a sore throat and a bit of a cough and maybe a sneeze or two, start feeling a bit under the weather? They used to call it man flu. Do you remember?
Oh right, and now you're saying like some certain hospitals maybe just be writing it down as a COVID case.
No, surely not. They can't.
No, they can't do that.
No, you can't. Certainly no. No, that would be misleading the public. Then.
It would be.
So what are we going to do about that then? How are we going to?
What can we do about it?
We can't disagree here in that, because if we do, we'll be an outcast. What we've also got to remember, guys, is there are reasons for why people may not have injections, and for those that do, brilliant. For those that don't, again, equally brilliant. Okay, understand the risks, understand obviously that there is such a virus and it is mutating and it is becoming different in the sense of variant, and we're going to get many of which, but obviously as long as we're sensible.
Like at the moment it was feared that it with the, what's the name of the new, God, excuse me, variant?
Omicron.
Omicron. It was feared then that this was really bad news.
Yeah.
But it's as I said a moment or so ago, it's turned out to be positive results. Yes, okay, we've got that influx of 600 people. Yes, it's a slight concern. That's all it is, a slight concern. No deaths. So that's the key point. No
deaths. But actually, Graham, you're right. I mean, some people would argue will actually do more than it's considered necessary because it's taking action and it's doing the most you can possible to mitigate any further escalating problems from the said Omicron. And others would say, actually, well, no, we're going too hard into this. We should be less knee-jerk and actually go, well, look, we've already been through a case of COVID, and COVID that we knew it when it first came around, COVID-19, wasn't it? SARS-2.
I think people need to stop panicking, stop worrying. Authorities need to stop panicking, stop worrying. Let the vaccinations do what they are designed to do.
And I would like to also...
They're either, one is to confuse the virus in its building stature, in the start, and the other one is to kill the virus. So they both do the same. Same. So
well, I
get vaccinated. The key is to get vaccinated, guys. Yes. It's really important.
However, I will say, please, and he's right. Graham is right, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Graham. Absolutely not. But what I am going to say is do so with caution. And my view, Graham, is I'm not against vaccination. I have already been double vaccinated. But what I will say is I'm skeptical about the booster, and why. Well, I'll give you my reasons right now, Graham, if that's okay with you guys. And you know, we're all entitled to our opinion on this, right? So I do think, Graham, the reason for why I in particular don't want to go for the booster is because I already know at this point in time that actually Omicron is not dangerous. It's very mild. So for me, I've pushed that into the cold category.
But there's a chance that a new variant might come from that.
Oh, absolutely.
Which could hit.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. But at the moment, it looks like we are winning the war.
Oh, of course.
You know,
of
thanks
course
to the scientists, and the government I feel, have done the best that they can. Yes, they've made errors. Any government will make errors. We all make errors in our lives. I certainly have, personally. So it's all about knowing the mistakes that we've made and moving on from them.
But I was going to say, sort of outweighing the risks. I mean, the risks are, yes, okay, there is a COVID, there is an Omicron variant, and we know it's mild at this point in time. And so what you've got to weigh up is, of course, you've got the possible blood clot, and again, it's very mild chance of, but I know I can say on my hands, I know people that have suffered with blood clots after having injections. So you've got that to weigh up, and of course that does, take some consideration. But then also with that, you've also got to say, but is it justified because of the virus? Is the virus dangerous enough? Now, I totally get, Graham. I am very much of the view that yes, we need to protect people, and it's not necessarily yourself. So we shouldn't be self-centered and say, look, no, actually, I don't want the virus vaccination because X, Y, and Z. We have our rights to say that because it's our bodies, and I think this is what a lot of the media outlets, some of which are saying. Not all. I mean, the BBC won't necessarily say this to you. I think they'll have a different language when it comes to this particular statement. But, it is our bodies, and we should be entitled to decide what we put in it. It should never be forced upon us. It should never be mandatory. Absolutely not. And I think absolutely we should be in control all the way. Now, nobody should be segregated from society simply because they choose not to have the vaccine. It reminds me...
It would be easy saying that if scientists were able to say it how it actually is.
Yes.
But they are still governed by
the
same people we're all governed by.
And yes.
And the last thing any government would want to do is scare the nation.
And this is where I'm going to go, Graham, because actually my opinion I've just had on this subject would not be so adverse if, of course, we knew the government, and let's say not just the government, but the media, were not so overboard on the information that we know. Because I think what that does is it instills fear in many ways.
It doesn't just do that. Look what's happened with the run up to most of the briefings. It's like they don't know what they're talking about. Yes, the virus is new.
Yeah,
we know that. We know, and it's going to take a good 5, 10, maybe even 15 years to fully know the extent of how to kill the virus.
Yeah.
Straight dead, to kill it dead.
I mean, Graham, I don't want to be again.
That's why it brings me to wanting to discuss the management of it. Government level, scientists should be able to express exactly the fear, but just use the right terminology in layman terms, not too scary, but be truthful. The government should allow them to do that.
Yes.
I don't personally feel, and I think it would be the same with any government.
I think governments need to just slightly tone down the authoritarianism, because we know that governments are governing us and controlling.
But it's like a domino effect.
It's a domino effect, but
it affects the NHS, because then in the NHS it is the true managerial side of this. They have got to manage the hospitals and the workload, the increased workload.
Yeah, of course.
Which probably a majority of the COVID cases could probably be dealt with over an open link, rather than a face-to-face, as long as the relevant protocols have been taken beforehand, and they don't need to face-to-face.
I think regardless of whether, what we've also got to be aware of as well, Graham, and this is how I sort of see things, is that we put the television on and we pay licenses to watch television, and television is our way of winding down in an evening, and we get our information from it, right? It's kind of like the be-all and end-all of information, isn't it? And I think what we've also got to do when looking at this box, television, is read between the lines. I think anything you do in life, doesn't matter whether it's news or whether it's read between the lines. And when I say this, I mean this because, you go about your business, you go to work, you go to the town, you see your friends, you have a party, maybe even a Conservative party, doesn't matter. I mean, regardless of what party you go to, you are engaging in the world and you're seeing things firsthand, okay, so then you have to weigh up what you're being told, and it's infectious because the government says something on television, and guess what, everybody knows about it because it's on national television, and everybody will have the same view, their view, but does not mean to say their view is right. What I'm going to say in this is it's their perception upon what we are experiencing. Scientists are giving information to government are the vocal points.
Yes.
To us, they're only politicians. I say they're only politicians. They're powerful enough and they're put there by the people, but the point I'm getting at, Grem, is that they are not scientists. They are basically mouth boxes for scientists. Now, bearing in mind there are many hundreds of scientists, thousands of scientists, and the list goes on, scientists across the whole entire world that will tell you very much of other things also to do with COVID that you will never see on the television. This is why I say, please, 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 don't fall out with people. Don't fall out with friends and family. Don't fall out with your neighbours because you have a different opinion to them. Because actually, who's right and who's wrong? What you can know, of course, is that you can go by your own experiences. And for me, Grem, my own experiences with not just COVID, but also Omicron is, out there at least, seems pretty normal to me. And so I want to keep that normality. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that happens.
Yes.
And I won't have anybody take that away from me, not even the government. I pay the government through my taxes to do a job, to govern the country, its wealth, its economy, not to tell me when I can and can't leave the house. That is how life should be. And
to be worried about actually telling us when to, because of the fear of losing votes. I mean,
yes,
it's
nonsense.
It's ridiculous.
Do you know what?
It's silly.
Do you know what's really silly as well, Graham? We've got a government right now. We've got a Conservative government. We've got a Labour government, right? And so the Labour of no opposition, as it's said by some. I don't want to be too knocking of Labour here, but I'm just going to say this: you've got the Conservative Party, who is the party of government. Then you have the opposition party, which is pretty much the Conservative Party as current time, right? Because actually, it's the red wall of the Conservatives, right? As they said, it's they are very similar. You've got Keir Starmer saying,
and COVID has created that bonding.
You've got no opposition to the government.
I've never seen Labour and Conservative congealed like that.
No, because you've got Conservatives saying we need tighter restrictions, and you've got Keir Starmer and the Labour Party side saying we need lockdowns, we need to do more. So actually, who's saying opposite to this? Who's saying what we're saying now, right now, Graham? Apart from, yes, you could say GB News. I mean, that's tend to be where I get most of my information. That's not the only way I get my information, of course. I like to experience the internet, and I like to read things. And actually, that's where you start to open things up a bit more. If you watch the BBC and ITV every single day of the week, apart from being suicidal before the end of the week, I would say,
But you
no perspective.
What news programme you watch, including Channel 4 and Channel 5, they've got the monopoly.
Yes. Yeah.
And they will all sing the same sort of tune because they all want those viewing figures.
Yes.
You need to research and find a factual news bulletin service, world service, like the BBC used to be.
Yeah. Have you noticed though that nobody's talking about the effects of COVID? I'm not talking about the illness or situation. I'm talking about the effects upon how it's having on people's health besides the obvious. Like mental health, for example. Stresses and anxieties of the constant fear that we're seeing on the national television. Nobody's ever acted like this. I mean, I've been alive. I'm going to tell the world now, but it's not a secret. I've been alive for 37 years, right, Graham? And I have to say that there has been many of different things in the world that is there to attack your immune system, and not one thing, despite how big or bad and ugly that man flu was, had ever seen us doing what we're doing now with COVID and Omicron. Now
it's just gone crazy.
It's gone crazy. It's
gone totally crazy.
But what we do understand to know is that we ask ourselves, well, is there a bigger picture in all this? There is, absolutely.
There is, and I'm sorry to say this, but we've got to bring China into it.
Right. What have they done now?
What have they done?
Oh.
What does any nation do? They do bad things. They do good things. But the last time I think China was spoken about in regards to COVID was that they've cracked it. I'm not.
They've cracked COVID.
The nation is thriving. Well, of course they are, because most of our stock comes from China. You've got like the risk catalogue, all the most of the items come from China because it's cheap labour. So yeah, so of course they've got the dollar rolling in anyway. During lockdown, they've been laughing.
Yeah, well,
if you think about all the money coming in,
yeah,
and the land that they've been buying up, which they have been.
Quite amazing, really.
Fact.
A world power such as China. I mean, of course, you could say the same for Americans and the Russians, but let's say let's talk about China for a second. So we've got the world power
through the back door, don't they?
Through the back door. You know, they've got this big thing come about. It's called COVID, right? It's originated from China, right? I don't know if you can say that now, but we'll just, for the sake of the show, because you had all different variants. We've got Indian variants and God knows what now.
No, but it's originated from one place.
Yes, indeed. And all of a sudden, Graham, it's no laughing stock. China are doing all right. So hang on a minute. What's going on here?
I mean, I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, believe me, and I think you all know that.
Yes,
but there's something's not ringing true there.
No, but don't quote me on this, Graham. But if you are interested in stocks and shares, do have a look at Pfizer, because I think there's going to be some interesting bites on the old market there. But not to say that I know what I'm talking about here, Graham. It's just what I predict. I've got this idea that because we're thinking of these boosters, right? So someone's got to be. I might
put £1 on Pfizer.
Do it. I would. That's if you are someone who's believing that boosters is the way to go. How many boosters do you think we're going to get a year? How long do they last, Graham? Are they 6 months at a time? Are they or?
Well, the boost, I think.
Is it a weekly thing?
No, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I did get some from some medical knowledge. Passed over to me. I think it was about 3 months.
All it lasts.
Yeah. So it's. I think they're saying 3 months because it's a new strain.
So basically we're going to be having injections like brushing our teeth.
Well,
we're going to be brushing our teeth and we're going to be injecting at the same time. Yeah. In what order will we do that? So you get up in the morning, you chuck your clothes on, brush your teeth, stick an injection in, and you're
we've
done
got a Tuesday injection.
Yeah.
No, it won't work like that.
Well, it'd have to go on the NHS, wouldn't it? No one would afford it. No one could afford it.
Well, this is another thing. The NHS.
They can't afford it either.
Are struggling. They're not as good as they used to be because they are managing a situation that they don't know how to manage, and how they're managing it is with more expense than possibly they could be saving, maybe elsewhere slightly, because the negative side of it is cancer patients, mental health.
Yep.
You name it, all the different sectors of health. Healthcare are all struggling because COVID is being has been placed as, the enemy of the state.
Yeah, I think we need a political movement somehow, Graham. I think we need an opposition, an effective opposition that will actually counter argue COVID, because people, as much as that seems to be, should I say, now the be all and end all of existence, I really do believe that is the case, and that's where we come.
Souls stood up, defied them, and voted to take back control of our country.
We do need to actually identify the need to protect others' lives in respect of other illnesses that somehow have not gone away. Colds and flus haven't gone away. In my mind, skeptically, I do think that actually we've just renamed them, in my opinion. But I'm not saying that is exactly the case. I'm no scientist. It's just, it seems a bit strange.
In years to come, strangely enough, that comment will probably ring true.
Yeah, well, I won't be famous enough to
Let's move on. Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to be COVID.
In 30 years' time, if you remember the Ben&Grem Show, watch this episode. And you will see.
I'll be ancient by then, but I will definitely still give it a go. I'll still try and get it up there for you all to see.
Rock the man flu.
Yeah.
I must admit, I would rather have COVID than something like cancer. God forbid. I mean, it's quite a scary thing to think that actually you could be a cancer victim at this current day and age, and yet somehow worry that you're not going to get an appointment. And that's exactly what the concern is at the moment. It's that people aren't getting seen. I know people that are waiting for appointments to come through, and they don't even know whether they're going to get one from one day to the next. I just think it's crazy that we are being so single-minded really when it comes to COVID. We've got to be realistic. We've got to move on. We've got to allow our economy to thrive.
You've got to be realistic. You've got to not allow it to take control of your life.
And we certainly
You've got
cannot
to find a way around in staying as normal as possible.
Yes, no more lockdowns. No more lockdowns. We can't. Can you imagine a lockdown in January? That's what people are saying.
I think the lockdown when it was taken away last time was correct, but what I don't think was correct was telling the whole nation that you didn't have to wear face masks. What, the flying elephants? Why would you say something like that? Just for point scoring, for vote pulling? I mean, no. In shops they must wear, and pay clubs to have a bit more time off. Give them the money to be able to keep their bank balances afloat. To keep their company and keep the companies that we all need for ourselves to that service us. The government have been doing a fair job there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
With their finances there, they've really helped out major companies. It's sad that some companies British companies have now no longer are trading, so that is a sad aspect of it. But there's war, isn't there? When there's war, there's going to be people and businesses that are going to be either struggling or not being able to cope, not being able to move forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've allowed COVID to control our destination, and we need to find a way of being positive with it.
Yeah.
Hygiene. Keep your hygiene at a good must. I mean, someone asked me the other day when I said that to them. Keep your hygiene up. It wasn't because they needed to. And they said, well, how many times do I wash my hands? I said, how many times do you wash your hands now? Times it by 10. If you leave the room to go into the kitchen, wash your hands before you prepare your meal. You go to the bathroom. After you finish using the bathroom, wash your hands before leaving. And have alcohol gel. If certain places you're not able to wash your hands, so you use alcohol gel then.
Keep it in your pocket.
Soap and water is the best.
Yeah.
Overall.
I'm still somebody who believes, though, that if you eat well, live well, then you're less chance of catching COVID. Because, if you live rough, on the edge, poor diet, and the old nights become darker and the rain comes down and you spend a lot of time out, you're going to get a cold, which probably would end up being COVID. So it's all about beefing up your immune system. I do honestly think that is a massive...
if you think about it, we spoke about this once before on the Ben&Grem Show about a year or so ago.
That's right.
Wasn't it? And how do you say this? We have become so accustomed to living in a house, 4 walls and a roof, central heating, not all the time because it's costly. But we've become, as human beings, accustomed to that.
Wrapping our children up in cotton wool.
Yeah. So therefore, we are not out there in all weathers, picking up a few germs to fight and for our immune system to fight and become tough and strong. So that's why you'll find that some individuals on the streets, a majority of them possibly, haven't ever had COVID.
Yeah.
Because their immune system is strong.
Yeah.
It's only when they get diagnosed with it is in hospital is when they've maybe had a chest infection and pneumonia and they've ended up in hospital, and then then they catch it because their immune system is extremely low.
But they didn't die of COVID though. They died of pneumonia or cold-related diseases, not necessarily COVID. I don't think anybody died of COVID alone.
Yes, I would like to. I would like to say again as well, which we did bring up about a year or so ago, that there was one hospital chain in Europe that were found to be putting down deaths as COVID, because they were basically receiving £20,000 per signing.
Wow. You're going to do it then, aren't
And
you?
that is that, you know, it's a fact.
Mm.
So it's
Still think that's
it's
happening
naughty.
now. I think it's happening now. I still think there's somebody making a lot of money. Not just somebody. There's many people doing it. All those people work for
Let's
Pfizer.
move on to some sport.
Yeah, let's move on to some sport. What have we got for sport then?
Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, Grand Prix.
Prix. Prix. I like the pricks.
Right.
Embarrassing.
So what do we have on that then?
I'm taking these off now. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to try to be. Oh.
I'm going to say I'm not a
turn.
big fan of Grand Prix, Grem, only because I like that.
Suits you.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Grand Prix, Grem, because
Why is it spelt like that? I probably asked when I was a youngster in primary school and just never listened to the answer. But that's a male thing, isn't it? Sorry, get back to it, because you was on a
no, I wasn't
mini
really,
roll.
I didn't have a lot to say.
It's about
if anybody's got any comments, if anybody's watching live, please do join in. I'm not even sure if we can see any live comments right now, so we'll have to look into that. What we're going to say though is on Grand Prix is that now I'm not really a big fan of Grand Prix, I have to say. I used to be in the days of Jacques Villeneuve or Damon Hill or even Michael Schumacher, some of those names, because back in those days on a Sunday afternoon sitting at home with your Sunday dinner, it used to be racing. It used to be.
Oh yes, it did. Yes, I used to
bits
watch it.
flying off
with
everywhere,
Dad and yeah.
squeezing down little corners, and it was fantastic. And then I stopped watching it because they brought in these things called race team instructions, and I could not.
They made it boring.
Well, it was more like a Sunday drive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing they're fast cars.
Health and safety.
Health and safety. The cars are really
Gone
fast.
crazy.
Yeah. So please don't overtake. What do you mean don't overtake? Is this a race or what is this? Please don't overtake. Let the person past you. Okay, right. So
They don't say that in banger racing.
No. And it was quite. And only the other day I was watching it, and there was this big thing on Sky News, Sky Sports News, where there was a big thing about Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and I put up on Facebook about how I was just completely miffed at the whole situation because you had Max Verstappen's team saying he had to let Lewis Hamilton through. I mean, it's racing, right? Don't forget that, right? So it's racing. You've got to let Lewis Hamilton through. Now, for some reason, there was a breakdown of communication, which in my mind, and I put up on Facebook, I said actually, this is a safety breach in itself. Dangerous because they're racing, right? Let's not forget that. And then you've got misinformation on the track. They shouldn't be. They're supposed to be racing. They're supposed to be concentrating, getting around them corners as fast as you can. The last thing you want is someone waffling in your ear hole, let somebody through. What do you mean? So anyway, Max Verstappen. So he comes off the accelerator, and he's trying to let Lewis Hamilton through. But little did he realise, Lewis Hamilton, it was claimed, never had the race communication from his team to say go past, right? So anyway, the upshot was Lewis Hamilton went straight into the back of Max Verstappen, and he was not happy about that. He was not happy about that, and I'm like, well, no, I don't suppose he was, and neither was Max Verstappen, I would imagine. So then he wanted an inquest. Well, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I couldn't believe, Graham, that actually we've got a situation where you've got a race, and yet someone's been told they have to slow down to let somebody through. They're teammates. No, they're not actually. They're not. So what on earth is we doing here? They're not on the same team. And even if they were, I don't still understand the logic. And then you've got these things called DRS. Now, I don't know. I've never understood it at Formula One these days. And what I also really don't like about Formula One today.
It's not a gentleman's game anymore.
Not anymore, no.
And
you've got people like Lewis Hamilton, who is extremely talented. Please, don't think I'm mocking him. He's absolutely talented. Of course he is. I don't think he would be so successful on a motorbike because I think someone come up about that some while back, and I think he tried to just dismiss it, although trying to be big about it. But there's no way he can go around a corner on a motorbike like he does in a Formula One car. No, it takes a lot more skill.
He is a pretty talented guy.
He's a talented guy, but then
they all are.
But Graham, if I've always said this, and it's not all about speed. And anybody that knows anything about racing will tell you it's not all about speed, because it's all about cornering. It's understanding the corners. It's understanding the racetrack and knowing how you can attack each corner and in and out of each corner. But when you have the fastest car, it makes a huge difference. And I've always said this, and I'd like to see this today. And if I ever thought I could get a message to Lewis Hamilton, I'd love to say to him, look, mate, You're fantastic. You've proven yourself.
Well, maybe
However,
if we shout his name loud enough,
yeah.
you might hear him.
However, drive for Lotus for a couple of
Louis!
seasons. Yeah.
Oi!
If he drives for Lotus for a couple of seasons, let's see how well he does then. And then all of a sudden now, because he was the one to supposedly win the championship, because by and large he's won the championship, by the way, Graham, Max Verstappen's won it. And I don't know how he's won it. I haven't seen it. I wouldn't see it because I can't stand Formula 1 these days. However, I'm quite pleased for Max Verstappen.
Yes.
Because actually he's beaten somebody who... It's like football, right? You've got Manchester United who have got money coming out of their ear holes. They can spend money on whoever they want, right? And then you've got Dover Athletic. No disrespect to Dover Athletic. They've had some bad times recently. But the comparison between the two clubs is David and Goliath. But Goliath can win.
Yes.
But David can do a trick. He can win every now and again. And when he does, why should you have an investigation on that? Now, somebody might want to correct me on that. They might want to say because this happened or that happened. By all means, please do. But I don't think there was anything that actually was untoward. I reckon it's because maybe he just won the race.
Yeah, exactly. He won the race, and the only other way is to redo the race, and that's just wouldn't be fair. You know, just suck it up, you know, and just move on.
But can you imagine? I don't think I really would love to ask this question to the likes of Damon Hill or Michael Schumacher if they were ever thinking about going back into racing. I know they're getting on now. It's like a young man's sport, isn't it? I suppose, but. You know, they've done their time now and whatever. But I can't imagine they'd ever want to go back into it because it's totally different. It's like going out in your car down the road and you've got traffic lights. You better stop for the red light and all park up. You know what I mean? Wait for the light to go green. Now you're back off again. And by the way, guys, this is a race. Now a safety car comes out. They only used to use a safety car. They only used to use a safety car if there was an accident.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do they use a safety car for nowadays?
Probably to pass on some tissue.
Oh, it's just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Or there's a leaf on the track.
Yeah. Do you know, they'll probably, in a few years' time, they'll probably bring in speed restrictions in Formula 1. They probably won't be at certain tracks. You won't be able to go over 100 mile an hour. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. Team orders, you're going too fast, slow down. You know what I mean? What do you mean?
I think I would just...
But I'm going to get taken over here.
But
Doesn't matter.
No one's going to... People are going to start pulling away from watching.
Well, I stopped watching it. Like I said, you have the likes of Jacques Villeneuve or Damon Hill. Jacques Villeneuve, I used to think was brilliant. French-Canadian. I used to think he was brilliant. I used to love watching his races. But then I stopped watching it. And I'll be honest, it was the same thing for MotoGP. MotoGP got a little bit silly. That again was like racing, hardcore, get in each corner, underneath people, all the rest of it. Brilliant it was, really, really nail biting. It used to be great. Then all of a sudden, favoritism came into certain drivers, it seems, and it's like, well, okay, so how did he win that race? How did they not get both punished for that? And then it's started getting spoiled, and this is what's happening. You got this health and safety elements coming into things like racing and football and all the rest of it.
I suppose you need to look at the age element as well, because Lewis Hamilton is younger, isn't he, than the other, isn't he?
But if he wins a few Grand Prix in the Lotus,
so he's going to want to win more and more and more.
I tell you what, Graham, if he ever does shock me, anyway.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
If he does, and I'll tell you what, I'll tweet him on Twitter, guys. On the Ben&Grem Show, I will tweet Lewis Hamilton and say, I had you wrong, my old friend, because actually you're fast, because you can win in a Lotus and not a Mercedes. Anyway, so
not a motorbike.
Oh yeah. He's probably got a motorbike. He probably rides a motorbike. I don't know. If you have, you maybe pop it in the comments box. Old Lewis, I'd like to hear from you. Unfortunately, you didn't win this Grand Prix, but you've won plenty in the past, haven't you? So you don't need to take it to an investigation.
He'll probably win the next one. So
probably.
When is the next one?
Ego got the better of you on this one, mate.
I don't follow it anymore.
No, it's not worth following. It's Formula 1. It's not.
Is it like every 4 years?
I don't know.
3 years?
I don't even know the rules anymore. All I know is that you get team orders telling you to slow down and let people overtake. I don't understand it. It's like football. Football's getting like that. You can't make a challenge anymore. It's like 1 minute you can, 1 minute you can't. 1 week you see some guy diving in with a fantastic challenge. He gets the ball, but then they say, "Oh, he got too much of the man. Oh, we can't have that." But on the next game, the day later, another team comes in, another player does the same thing, and he's away with it. It's like, what? You know, then they say, like, limited contact. The interesting thing was this
it's like the year then when we should have won the World Cup. That's very sad.
Yeah.
Painful sort of thing to talk about.
Yeah, I know, but then they made it all about race then, didn't they? I mean, the two chaps that took up the opportunity to score the penalties missed the penalties. They got criticised, but somehow it ended up in a race battle. Everyone was talking about racism. You know, but do you know what I mean, though?
The handball.
And then they made it so personal about them, didn't they? Yeah, and no, get a grip. It wasn't about your colour or skin. It was purely because you fluffed your lines.
And you had Rolando.
Yeah.
In the what year was that? 2004.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
He's Portuguese, isn't he?
Yeah. But what year was it? He done that foul against.
Blimey, now you're going back.
Was that was quite close to getting us into the finals, wasn't it? Yeah. So.
I remember. All I'm thinking about is David Beckham. Do you remember that? Do you remember that awful challenge on David Beckham? And didn't he retaliate and got sent off? It was against Argentina, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm talking years ago.
Because they wanted him off. They wanted him off because he was a good midfielder.
And that's what footballers do, and that's what they do. You know, and you know, it happens. You know, teams will do anything they can to get a win if they are not getting it through playing football. And unfortunately, the consistency with the officials is lackluster. You know, if they were consistent, then teams wouldn't get away with it. And actually, because they don't get away with it, they wouldn't do it. But the truth is, and I said this to my father, actually, me and my father are big fans of football, or Leeds United. And we've said before that there seems to be a huge amount of favouritism, Grem, for the big six football clubs in British football, English football. And
the main one isn't doing so well at the moment.
The main one isn't doing so well at the moment. But, you know, they seem to get a little bit lucky, you know. Referee decisions go their way, officials will always favour them, and it seems a shame.
Yes, like, you know, a bit of money there.
Yeah, well, it makes you wonder, but you can't say that. But you know, you know what I mean, though. No. You think it, and you said it, which is
exactly
good. Only on GB News and on the Ben&Grem Show.
Yes. Well, moving on. To a brief subject to do. UK confirms under the G7 that £75 million is going to be funded in aid towards Afghanistan.
Right.
I suppose that's to help with the COVID fight over there, which I think is...
Wasn't it humanitarian because they had...
It's going to help with the COVID.
The war, wasn't it? There was something going on over there, wasn't
there? But it was talked about at G7.
Was it? Right. Yeah. I haven't
about COVID and for all nations to come together.
Right. 75 million, yeah?
I think it's fair. It's a lot of money, but let's hope that nations like France and Germany are putting in 75 million as well, or maybe slightly a bit more because they've got bigger land mass.
I don't think they.
No, but I think that's how we are going to get through the Brexit situation, is by being typical British and generous, over generous.
Well, we're giving more licenses, isn't we?
Yeah, and I think the European Union won't like that.
No, I don't think they will.
It's the way we British are. We are generous.
We've offered more licenses to the French fishermen, even though there's been a battle around fishing rights. And the only stipulation was that we could have them prove that they'd fished in our waters before. What about that?
I don't even want to get on the subject.
What a soft touch can we be? Unbelievable. Oh well. So anyway, what do we do? We need, as I said before,
the British are very good at putting loopholes in. So there's probably something in that which actually the Conservatives have used a couple of times, and I don't know. Yeah.
The blue Conservatives or the red Conservatives?
Oh, the True Blues.
True Blues.
True Blues.
Running a bit thin at the moment, isn't it? The True Blues.
So, what is the time anyway?
The time is coming up for 10 to 7. We've been live for about 50 minutes, Grem. We've talked about COVID, we've talked about Formula 1, and what else are we going to talk about?
We discussed about the Prime Minister going live at 8 o'clock.
Yes, indeed. He will be live at 8 o'clock.
Going from level 3 to level 4 is projected as cases rise.
Mm-hmm.
What we haven't discussed at the moment is Scotland's issue that they've got with their hospitality sector.
Right. What's happening with that?
Well, the SNPs there are stepping up calls to have more financial support from the government. Now, do they mean the government, or do they mean the SNP?
Probably the government, Graham, because what they want to do is they want to make enough money so they can fight the independent campaign.
But I thought the SNP were doing a good job in Scotland, and I thought they were doing okay.
Yeah, doing fine, aren't they?
So why is it that they need our help? because they don't want us around.
Everybody needs our help, don't they? Have you noticed that? Everybody.
Yeah.
The world needs UK's help.
But we do it. We
I
do
know
it.
that, yeah.
It's just like it's just like the English and the Welsh, not the rest of the United Kingdoms. It's like we're pushovers just for some bully boys that are going on about something that happened about 50,000 million years ago.
It's probably because we've lost competence on anything nowadays. Everything's about COVID now, isn't it?
We are a United Kingdom. Like it or lump it, SNP.
We are.
Period.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, they're still going on about independence, aren't they?
Oh.
And they will continue to do so until they get that referendum
It's like
again.
toothache.
Yeah, it is. But I don't see Nicola Sturgeon being in power as the First Minister for too long. I think there's going to be a few changes there.
I think they might be silly to get rid of her at the moment.
At the moment, I don't think she'll go, but I think what will happen
because if they do it now, they will lose. They will lose the next election.
They will.
Definitely.
They will. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to get another indie referendum, all right, and then it's all going to go belly up. You can predict it, can't you? And then she's going to be chopped, not literally, but she's going to get the chop. To become a backbencher. Hey, Theresa May.
It might. Oh yeah.
Theresa May's doing well, isn't she, as a backbencher?
I don't know.
Yeah. She was brilliant on the subject of COVID recently. She was talking about how we're going too hard on the subject and maybe we're going a bit overboard. She actually said some really good things to the Prime Minister, and I thought, this is not Theresa May, surely not. This is not the Theresa May who.
This is the Theresa May that's wanted to be.
This is where she's no strings.
This is how she should have projected herself as the Prime Minister.
Yes, exactly.
But no, yet again, they're all worried about the point scoring and the vote polling,
Yeah, I do feel sorry for Boris Johnson, though, in a way, and I'll say that because
I think he's handling it reasonably well, mate.
He's handling it well, but I think he's got a lot of pressures from everything around how he should deal with anything X, Y, and Z
he's recently had another baby.
Yeah, so I think he's just whatever. I got this feeling that Boris is whatever. There's all this power from the red Labour going, we need this lockdown, that lockdown. We need to strap this up, strap that up, plaster this, plaster that. And he's going, well, okay.
Yeah, but what he's doing, he's not just doing what they want, what they're asking. He's also putting that extra in. So when it comes to, it's all about.
Of course it is. Yeah.
At the end of the day,
he's feathering his nest, not
and
his, but
putting
necessarily.
it this way, this is going to cripple. It's crippling every nation, every Western nation. It's crippling each country financially. And I'm sorry, but you need a conservative government to help eventually get us out of that hole.
I don't think we'll ever see a Labour government in our time, and I'm pleased about that.
So am I.
I think honestly and truthfully, no matter how bad the Conservatives will be, Labour will never get in because they are just.
They've got no one good enough. I mean,
they haven't.
They've got an education. Is she still the education representative? The one that left school before the age of 16,
right.
Wasn't it?
Right. Oh, I don't even know. All stuff. Yeah.
No, let's not get on to anyway.
We don't want to go too deep.
No, we don't want to go on to that.
I mean, they come and go, Labour, don't they? I mean, it's another scandal to another scandal. I mean, they're all moving around, aren't they? I mean, it's quite funny, though, isn't it? When they're talking about scandals, I mean, most of this thing about the parties, and they're talking about another leak now, aren't they? About this other party that they've supposedly had, the Tories. And I think, well, hang on a minute. So Labour had none, did they not?
Exactly.
I mean, come on. They're champagne socialists, for crying out loud. You can't say for a second they didn't have a party or two during lockdown.
Oh, God. I mean, I haven't slept much for the past 4 days.
No, I don't think they do either.
Issues. And I think I'm gonna end up going to sleep tonight because when I ever talk about
Labour, you start snoring.
Opposition.
Well, there is no opposition. But the thing is, we do need another party. We do need a third wheel. Yeah.
It needs to be a centre. It needs to be. It needs to be a party that can fluctuate from left, centre, right.
Right. Yeah. Well, there is no voice at the moment. I mean, you've got Labour and Conservative. They're on the centre left.
But I don't understand why people are still holding Labour to the front to do with the NHS.
Yeah.
When they introduced the selling of the hospitals and the land.
I know.
And
you can't say
and
that.
building.
You'll upset them.
And then ends up having to pay extra on top. Oh, get out of here.
Oh, yeah. The party of the NHS. Yeah, the same party that did nothing to fix it. got no solutions. The Conservatives are doing exactly
The
what
Conservatives, I think, they actually born the NHS in many discussions and I think before it went to the white paper, they lost the election. Labour came in, and the first thing they done was release the NHS as a jewel in the crown for themselves.
Well, it was
and then ever since then they've labelled themselves NHS.
and it's nothing to be proud about at the moment. So carry on, Labour.
Well, it's a fact that you don't label yourself as a main supporter of any one sector in any nation.
Labour had the idea and they created the NHS in the sense of the word, but they didn't really create the NHS.
No.
It's been run by the Conservatives for years. It started off where Labour introduced it and made
after most of the work was done by the Conservatives, which had some help with some Labour representatives. But,
they made the fatal mistake of going, oh no, we can make some money out of this.
And what happened after 2 years?
Yeah.
Out went Labour, and in came Winston Churchill again to clear up the mess.
Yeah, he did, and actually he was red and blue.
But people forget all this. Yes, I know we're talking about 1950.
Yeah, but this is the thing. People are forgetting. See, but the thing is, I mean, I'm not going to go back to COVID, but just for 10 seconds of it, all right? You say that people are forgetting this, but people forgetting what happened last week with COVID. You can't talk about what happened last week because it's dead
Wasn't
news.
Churchill? Correction. Apologies. I really do apologise, and this is live. This is so embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing because he was Labour and Conservative, wasn't he? So you're not wrong in a sense.
No, but the
you're talking about Edward Heath.
No, I'm talking about to do with the NHS back at just after the turn of the century.
Major.
It wasn't major. That was the 80s.
That was the 80s, wasn't it?
70s. No,
Who was
80s.
before him then?
Thatcher.
Of course it was.
It wasn't Thatcher.
No,
it wasn't Edward.
No, because she was Conservative, wasn't Thatcher?
Whoops.
I don't even know. I don't care.
Yeah.
Too long ago.
It was Conservative.
Yeah, it was.
Conservative.
Conservative, Labour.
And
they had a term. They had one term, didn't they?
They had no. I think there was 5 terms. There was 4 terms for Conservatives. 4 Labour came in for 3 terms, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then
yes.
And then it went back to Conservatives again.
Yes, it did. When Prosser, do you remember him?
Yeah. Actually, he's not a bad guy. I'm sorry.
No.
I've actually chatted to him.
Yeah.
He's all right. I know people like make fun of his surname.
Does he admit he was Labour? Does he admit he was Labour? Even now? Does he say? Is he proud of it? Or was it
Probably not.
No, probably not.
Probably not. Because he was a true sort of workman.
Yeah.
Workman guy, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
He pits. You know what I mean?
Grim Prosser, if you're working, Grim Prosser, start again. Grim Prosser, if you're watching, Labour, working class, or not?
I think it's whatever fits the
narrative, the
Exactly.
situation, the subject.
Sad.
Yeah.
That's the way politics has gone.
Yeah, it is sad, isn't it? It is sad. Poor sods. I do feel for Labour because they do. They bang on about being working class. It's just hilarious. Anyway, Graham, what have we got next?
Well, we was talking about the hospitality
Yes, we
sector,
were.
but we sort of went off, and I sort of
We've had no comments. Well,
internally rolled my eyes.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
But yeah,
Have we got any comments?
no, for some reason the comments aren't coming up.
No, nobody's watching. No one's watching.
No, people are watching.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, of course. Hello,
The
everyone.
last time I looked, it was 26,522
Views. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Would we be sitting here in a makeshift studio?
With 26,000 views. Well, you never know.
But we do both look dapper.
Well, you do.
And you.
I'm.
Well, I've still got sunglasses on my head. Oh, it's because I tried cutting my hair and my sister corrected it, but as best as she could.
No, she did a good job.
A lot of gel.
Yeah, gel's good. So yeah, there's a lot happening at the
So
moment.
the financial sector in Scotland.
Yeah, it's as I say, I think they want this money because they want to fund the independence referendum that they want for the second time. I just think it's going to be never ending with them, isn't it? When you get enough from
I don't think they should be allowed to have it.
No, of course not.
Period.
Well,
They shouldn't have. End of. No more. They've had it. End of.
How rude is it? Right, think about this. You got the First Minister saying we want independence of the United Kingdom, right? But then she wants money from the government. I mean, it's like,
And she wants to be ruled by the European Union.
yeah, I know. I mean, like,
love, I think there's something wrong with the
She
chip
wants-
on your shoulder. I
she
think
wants
you've got
to-
it infected a bit.
she wants to be a sovereign nation, so she wants to leave the United Kingdom, the Union, but she then wants to join the European Union. Not to mention the fact that, no disrespect to the Scots, but Scotland hasn't got anything to offer the Europe.
Well, just 2 million people. About 2 million something people.
Alone, I
something,
should say. Not
2.1, 2.2 million people.
Hmm.
And
I like Scots. I do like the Scots. I do like the Scots.
They've got character.
They have, yeah.
I watched a film the other day actually, and I wish I never brought it up now because I can't remember the name of it. It's about a writer, an American writer that actually went to Scotland to get herself out of trouble because she killed off one of her main characters from a previous top-selling trilogy. So, yeah, I've forgotten the name of it. Sorry about that.
Trilogy.
Yeah.
That's like a 3, isn't it? Trilogy.
No, it's actually 5 books. I think she's done, or 8.
Oh, was it?
So whatever that is. Quadrangle.
Quadruple. What?
Quadrangle.
Quadruple. Merry Christmas, everyone. Nearly there, isn't it?
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And
Have you
Happy
finished
New
your
Year.
shopping? Have you finished your shopping?
I haven't started. I never start my Christmas shopping until around about the 21st.
You know what? People are worried that actually by doing shopping online at this year would be a bit of a risk in case, of course, you don't get stuff on time because of potentially another lockdown, Glenn. I can't believe we're sitting here in December of 2021.
Has this come out in the news?
And they're talking about a potential lockdown, yeah.
No,
I don't.
About getting online. Don't get it online. Get it in the shop.
No. There is fears. It has been reported that there's fears that by ordering shopping online that there could be delays.
Well, you know why they're saying that?
No, I don't.
You've just given the answer that
Probably.
we are due a lockdown.
Probably.
We are due a lockdown, and because of the amount of money it's cost from the previous lockdown, the government aren't officially saying it themselves. They've got other bodies to say it. You know, go to the shop. Go to the shops. Spend all your money in the shops.
Do it now.
You know, because more money you spend in there,
then it protects them for the
It gives the government more money to be able to funnel back into
the lockdown,
fighting with the lockdown, which is.
So don't spend any
something
money
I
in the
would do.
shops. Spend it online.
No, don't spend it online. Go to the shops.
Don't spend it at all. Put it in your pocket.
We need to protect our high streets,
Yeah, we
guys.
do.
We've lost some really big names this year.
Coffees and
Debenhams.
Coffee shops and charity shops and food shops is pretty much the high street of today, isn't it?
Well, we've got one last news. Sad breaking news.
Yeah, go on then. It is bad, actually.
It is extremely. A young girl of 11 years old has died after coming in contact with chemicals at a nearby flat in London, East London. So it's really, really sad news.
Do we know any more?
No, it's so new at the moment. We don't know too much about it, but chemicals. To me, that's reading out
Chemical
warfare.
Warfare.
You know,
Terrorist attack.
That's what it's reading out to me.
So there could be another thing on this, do you reckon? It could escalate.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit short. Yeah, it's a bit limited.
But because this child has died, it's probably put the spanner in the works for them to go going any further.
Further, yeah.
It could have been one of their own children.
Yes.
So when they rushed to hospital, obviously the surgeons realised and doctors and. So yeah, well, we don't know the whole story, so we can't really discuss it too much. But it is pretty sad. My thoughts and my prayers are with the family.
You can't pray if you don't fall asleep, though. I mean, you can't. Did I say you can't pray?
You can pray in your dreams.
Yeah.
Do it on a regular basis.
No, I said you can't pray if you can't fall asleep.
Oh dear.
I
think you're tired.
Yeah, something like that.
Have you been up for 4 days?
I
Nearly?
have nearly. It feels like. Well,
Anyway,
it's hard to
saying
sleep
about 4
nowadays when
days.
you got
4 days.
when you got all this propaganda in your ear hole. It's hard to fall asleep nowadays, isn't it?
Look at this. Look at this. 4 days, near enough, with hardly any sleep.
You look good, mate. What makeup does for you?
Makeup?
He hasn't got any on.
I've got no makeup.
He hasn't got any makeup
What,
on. No.
A streamlined nose.
So, do you know
Oh, how is your nose, Mr. Glazer?
my nose? But hold that thought, because Graham, I want to mention just how remarkable it is that this floating pot of plant
yes.
life has not fallen.
Wow. Hello, plant.
How are you doing for a dabble? Do you need a liquor? A liquor liquid? A liquor liquid.
Oh my God. People, please switch off from what he's just said.
So if you've just tuned in case you haven't noticed, we are live. Got a new emblem. Well, it's not an emblem. It's just. Can you see that? So,
Oh yeah,
it's over there. Sort of. Yeah. It says what it needs to say. I quite like it actually. Do you? It looks quite good, doesn't it? He did that. He created that. Good he is. Man of many talents is Graham. He can walk on water. Do you know what? I saw a video.
I tried that once.
Yeah.
I sank.
That's because you didn't use those big feet that you can use. You know those. I saw somebody on Twitter. No. On Twitter,
No,
on
I know. I
TikTok.
tried it with those. One shot up and hit the, and I think it hit my godmother in the face.
What a flipper!
No, do you know those floating square things you used to hold on and kick with your back?
Yeah.
Obviously with your legs. I stood on 2 of them, and my left foot slipped and it went up and hit her in the face.
Oh dear.
I've always remember that. In the small pool. And she was so pleased that I was doing so well with swimming but then she realised.
Oh, went a bit south.
No, after that she suddenly realised about a week later that I wasn't actually able to swim at all. I was tiptoeing.
I shouldn't speak anymore.
I was a skinny little thing, and I was like as skinny as a rake, and I was literally tiptoeing and going.
Love it. Love it. I can imagine. I can imagine how. Did you have foot cramp? That's after a while, doesn't it? Doing that.
No, I was so skinny, and weight doesn't
doesn't affect you. Didn't affect you.
No, not in the water. You can be the largest person and still
float.
Move freely around.
Well, actually, it's like an armband, isn't it? The bigger you are, the better it is for you if you're swimming, isn't it? I mean, because you're buoyancy's good.
I'm still trying to get shifted up a few more kilos. So.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't worry about that too much. You've got Christmas to think about first. Don't even think about it, Graham.
Well, I've got to stop eating.
Next time you see him, we're going to
to
need 2 cameras, aren't we, mate? No, I'm joking. I'm going to need him before he will. I'll have to say, I'm putting weight on.
Did you know?
Yeah, go on.
That face the camera.
Yeah.
That there's a point in your head there.
Yeah.
That if you hit it.
Yeah.
Extremely hard, you can die automatically.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about that. Well, I don't want any hitting going on because I've had enough hitting as it is, Graham. Because I had a little experience, didn't I? You did talk about a nose, and I did get clumped on a night out a couple of weeks ago, and it was
just minding your own business.
Yeah. But you got people that are like that. You know what I mean? You can't go out anymore. Well, you can. You just can't talk to anyone, and I will learn my way. Broken nose. I think it was broken. It cracked.
Just think that you're, as you said earlier, you're 37. Maybe nightclubs.
Time to hang up the gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more bars.
Yeah.
If I want a pub drink.
His beard's coming back again.
Yeah, it's coming back.
It's going nicely. Actually.
Looking forward to it. Anyway, just for your information, the guy was cautioned, so all is well. Merry Christmas to him, and choke on your sprouts.
Well, I'm hoping that he's going to learn his lessons.
Probably not. Karma.
Because he's probably done this
Karma
before.
works, doesn't it, in all mysterious
ways.
ways.
But the police seem to be aware of him, so...
We'll see. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is, Graham, we have 2022 just around the corner. January sales. Anybody going to be shopping? Are you going to be interested in January sales this year?
Yes, but I'll be doing it through Curry's probably, because I've got an account with them.
How many Indians do you expect to buy? I mean, I quite like a chicken chatbuna, but I'm not going to buy that many. Not in January. Probably I'm going to be saving money where I can as well because of the expenditure you've had over Christmas. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about people, individuals.
No, I'm talking about food. Is that what you were talking about?
No, I'm talking about Curry's PC World.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. What are you thinking about doing there then? Oh, PC.
January sales.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Might buy some curling tongs or some useless item that I really don't need.
So Ben&Grem Show studio equipment.
Yes. Well, I've got some
Actually-
coming from Wish,
Yeah.
which is been about 2.5 months now. So, and I'm kitting out one of my rooms. In fall, it's going to be fully done.
Yeah.
But I'll be needing help with that.
That'd be good. Yeah, why
So-
not? I mean, it'd be good to have a few more studios with a bit more flexibility for the set. Yeah.
I'll
So,
discuss more about that after the show.
or after Christmas.
Yes. Well, then the viewers will know about it after. Not after Christmas. No, we're going to be. I'm hoping to do a couple more shows before the run up to Christmas.
Are we?
And,
We're doing
yes,
more, yeah.
I want to do at least a couple more lives possible.
It's been good, isn't it?
Yeah. It's been
Um,
good.
So we are 10 minutes past 7, and we are moments away, all of 50 minutes away, from the big announcement from our Prime Minister Boris Johnson, talking about yet furthermore information around the COVID-19 strain Omicron. And what do we know about it as we speak? Well, what we do know is, although it's becoming very, very aggressive in transmissible cases,
It's
it's
not
mild.
it's not as deadly
it's not
as
as deadly.
first expected to be.
Unless he says otherwise at 8 o'clock. In which case,
I think it's best to be overcautious with it.
yeah.
Like they.
Talking about
They have
overcautiousness, Graham, I actually, no joke, serious matter, isn't it, Cope? I'm considering buying a hazmat suit. I found one online. It's a yellow one. Oh, seriously.
Really?
Yeah. And it's got one of those, like the World War II masks.
Oh, they.
Yeah. I have actually seen people wear those. I might wear that in town. I tell you why, I'll get fed up with on and off with the masks. And, if we're going to do protection, I'm going to do it properly. Because if I'm walking into a shop and someone's got COVID, not that I'm going to know of, and I'm wearing a mask, that ain't going to protect. Not going to protect them. Because you're next to people. But if I'm wearing a hazmat suit, I'm not only protecting myself, but I'm protecting them as well. And
I saw someone wear something similar to that
did you? Do they come with the oxygen?
back in March,
Right.
2020. Oh, what, 19.
No. Yeah.
When we
Could've
first, with the first major
Oh,
lockdown.
now I'm no good. I'm not going to criticise now. I will say I was.
I was in Morrison's
frightened.
queuing system outside waiting to get in, and two people joined. I think there's 3 or 4 people after me, all in these like suits, but their heads were open. They didn't have the helmet
You're looking
thing.
for the beach, mate. It's over there.
They were like bright yellow, like rubber suits, and even like gloves. I looked at them and I thought, oh.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean,
and it was hot.
you can't be embarrassed anymore nowadays. Not after the way people are responding to COVID as a whole. I think the fact that anything goes nowadays, isn't it? We are not listening to rhyme or reason. I think now if I decide to walk out in a balaclava with a yellow rain mac and a pair of flip flops, holding a sign saying I'm a Wally, it wouldn't batter an eyelid to anybody, because at the end of the day we're all acting odd these days, and nothing matters, everything goes. So I will be wearing that hazmat suit, and if you do see me, say hello. If you don't hear me very well, it's probably because I've got my mask on, but I'd rather not hear you if I thought I could protect you. So
I'm looking forward to this. I will be walking about with Ben as well, but not in a suit.
I am going to make sure that we can take this seriously. If we're going to be serious, I keep trying to minimise the dangers. I'm trying.
We're
to live
going
my
to do
normal
some
life.
filming on the subject, aren't we?
We could do. We could do. But Graham, I'm so anticipating the normal life, and it can't. The more and more I push for normal life, the more and more I become segregated from society, and I'm not the only one here. So I am going to go the whole hog. Okay, I am going to be seen wearing these funny outfits, and I don't care what people think, because people are going to go, oh, he's really odd. Look at what he's wearing, and I'm going to go, what do you mean I'm odd? I'm protecting myself from COVID. What are you doing with no mask on? What are you doing with a mask on? Is that all you're going to do, is it? Because they've even said that masks aren't enough. They're actually saying that masks are not going to stop you from catching the virus.
Well, we're not now, because they've told us to
If
stop
you're going to get
using them,
COVID,
didn't they?
if you're going to get COVID, cold or flu, you're going to get it, regardless of whether you've been near anyone or not, because it's there. It's everywhere. It's airborne.
Because you can't always guarantee that you're going to wash your hands at the
Yeah.
correct time. Like I've just done. I mean, how many times have I touched my face today?
Oh yeah, I know.
This evening alone.
I've just scratched my nose 3 times.
I'm always doing this. I used to have a bad habit of doing this all the time.
I used to do that, but you get snot on your finger, don't you?
Yeah, especially if it's like you're just recovering after a. What was it that came before COVID?
Oh, but it weren't the cold and flu, was it? That was forgotten a long time ago. No, it was.
I must have been dreaming.
Oh, mad cow disease might be coming back. Do you reckon? I reckon there's no such thing as COVID. I reckon it's mad cow disease in full effect.
Yes,
It's making everyone go balmy.
and the
isn't it?
birds.
Bird flu. Oh yeah, we've heard about bird
Yeah,
flu.
Stenarita flu.
Yeah. What?
Birds.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't hear about that, do we?
No,
Vaccinations? Do we have a vaccination for bird flu? Or is it not important enough? Is it milder than the Omicron bird flu? Or is it only birds that get it? I think it's just birds.
No, I think it was quite a serious thing, but for some reason they just didn't.
Didn't want to talk about it.
No, because it
Didn't make any money.
It was
Just didn't have the...
it was affecting animals more than it was humans.
Oh, so that's all right then, isn't it? Apparently.
No. I think with the mad cow disease, it's when people had eaten a bit of affected meat, wasn't
Eating
it?
the beef, yeah. Well, where's that gone all of a sudden? This is what I don't understand, Graham, you know. I was saying...
Well, they
that-
were all slaughtered, weren't they? All the cows were
Yeah.
apparently all slaughtered.
and that was the
every
end
single
of it,
one.
wasn't it?
And then all of a sudden we've got
So we
a
grown
full
another...
country full of cows again.
Yeah, I know, amazing, isn't it?
All within a couple of
A couple of generations. No, not even that.
generation.
2 years,
a
wasn't
couple of weeks.
it? Yeah, yeah.
Bang.
Oh, yeah.
You
What are you
know,
going to say about that? Can we
lose about 2 million cows, and then we end up with about 7.
Yeah, yeah. We just grew them in a lab, didn't we? Must have done.
But what lab?
No,
Oh,
maybe.
it's not those labs that keep accidentally releasing stuff.
Right. Could have been China. Wet farms.
I don't think it's got anything to do with China.
It hasn't. But Graham, I think you're onto something, you know, but nobody ever asked questions about that, did they? They just kind of accepted it. And all of a sudden, where are these things gone? You know, cold and flu you don't hear of anymore. Mad cow disease you don't hear anymore. Chicken, whatever flu. You know, where all it is COVID, isn't it? No one ever gets ill anymore.
It's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Anyway, we've gone back to that subject again.
Yes.
I want to say something, Graham. I want to talk about Mr. Johnson, Boris Johnson. Do you think he will be Prime Minister by Christmas?
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
And I think he needs to take the Conservatives through the next general election. He should not be. I've got a funny feeling that the Conservatives always make the wrong. They always do a boo boo at the wrong time when it comes to leadership.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there will be pressuring him to go because of the crisis to do with COVID. But I think he'd be silly to go. I think he should stay on, fight the next general election. I would be surprised if he doesn't come back with the majority he originally got.
Got some breaking news for you, Graham, and for the rest of the viewers. It has come out that Max Verstappen, having won the Championship Grand Prix, it's understood that the Mercedes team were going to appeal the result, and it turns out that they have failed to win the appeal. So it does stand. Max Verstappen is champion
Congratulations!
for him. God, can you imagine if they took that away from him and he's already downed a couple of gallons of champagne? That'd have been devastating, wouldn't it?
It would have been. It
you
would have
imagine?
been.
It's celebrating. It's kind of like it kind of reminds me of Brexit, doesn't it? We won another referendum, even though it was democratically clear that we won the referendum and we left the European Union and Brexit prevailed, and yet somehow you got Mercedes and the Remainers going, "We want another go at this." You know what I mean? Come on, what's going on? It's now affecting sport, isn't it? When is it going to end?
Well, exactly.
Although we do now know that you can buy plastic plants. Changing the subject. Ren, if you
And
have
floating plants.
and floating plants, yes.
Oh, look! It's trying to teleport itself. Have you noticed, people?
The home bargains, wasn't it? Yeah, home bargains.
Well, maybe it's teleporting.
No,
back.
that was
How much did it cost?
£3.
That's all.
Yeah, it came from the pound shop. But it wasn't a £3 then.
Isn't that a peace lily? Are they peace lilies?
It's a orchid.
Is it?
Mm.
I like the peace lilies.
But it's an orchid.
Yeah, but I like peace lilies.
Oh right. I like a piece of tea as well. I like the name Lily, actually. You like Lily?
Yeah.
It's a nice name, isn't it? What could you use Lily with? I
Lily
think that,
Claire.
yeah, it has to be a middle name, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There has to be a
Yeah, it has to
double
be
barrel.
hyphenated, yeah.
I mean, you've got Lily Allen, haven't you? I mean,
Yeah, but that's Lily Allen. Lily Claire. I think that's quite a nice name. In fact, we've got
Lily
a viewer
Bear.
that is watching at the moment.
we have we? Lily Bear?
Elaine.
Elaine.
So her daughter is called Lily Claire.
How did you know that? How do you know I've got a viewer?
You do know.
How do you know?
Because it says in front of us.
Oh, okay, I'm glad he knows. I ain't got a clue. All right, well,
My
nice to see you,
God,
Elaine.
and he's
Thank
a
you.
technical guy
Oh,
here,
well,
everybody.
I just pressed a couple of buttons, but you're monitoring, aren't you? You're
Yes,
doing
I'm
the
very
monitoring.
monitoring. Yeah.
I'm glad he has, because if he hadn't have done, we wouldn't have known you were here, Elaine. So thank you very much for you, Graham, and you being here, Elaine.
Thank
And
you.
I noticed you were
Thank
also
you.
watching Graham this morning, because he was doing a visit with his wonderful mother. And,
Yes,
and
I went-
a lovely video,
yeah.
wasn't it? Thanks for doing
Yeah,
that.
it was. It was.
I hadn't seen the plot, so I was quite pleased to watch it.
Yeah, I need to get back up there and tidy it up a bit. The earth is still so sodden with water.
Did Tony? Is it Tony? Did he get to see it in the end? Was it Tony? Because you said, oh, if you just tuned in, and I can go back if you want.
Yeah, no, it
not
wasn't
Tony, was it?
It was.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, crikey, apologies there. He's probably watching now. Yeah, I don't know how many people watched actually. I have
4 or
found
5,
it.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I have found out that some of my lives have been going a bit crazy, and I've been getting quite a lot of good response from them on the street. It's just like smiles, basically. Nothing nasty.
Well, it's nice to see you now and again, especially if it's on.
I walked into one kebab shop, and I was near enough waved down like this, you know, and it's like they put the red carpet out. Honest, and nowhere to
I
lie.
hope you took off your shoes.
Thank you, sir, for coming. We are honoured for you to come in. Oh my gosh. I'm just doing a live talking about depression,
That's good.
which
Which somehow at the moment in time no one seems to talk about, because there's other things in the media.
exactly with my situation,
So keep
and,
doing it, Graham.
and people that are dealing with the same kind of situation as myself. You know, everything's in go slow because of COVID. It's basically taken me. Well, I still haven't started official counselling yet. Okay, and this has been going on since August.
So how would they do that now, though? Would they do that over like?
I managed to do a live at the end of August, going through a terrible time. I don't know how I managed it, but I managed to do that.
No, you did. You've done well with your lives, and it was, like I say, a pleasure to see it this morning. I was not expecting
No,
it.
the live with
it was-
you,
yeah,
Ben and
live with
Grem
me.
live.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, it was actually a pleasure, and we got some more coming up, because you said we have, haven't you?
Yes, we have. I would love to be able to do at least 2 more before Christmas, and
yeah,
a Christmas special.
There's plenty of time, and we've got enough content, haven't we? We've got plenty of content. Have we?
I wonder if the good lady wife would allow me to do an all-nighter
Ben and Grem, 24 hours live. Wow, really?
with drink.
That'd be a bit messy,
Is
wouldn't it?
that okay? Was that yes? Oh, thank you so much, sweetheart.
That would what, a Christmas special?
Yeah, Christmas special, an all-nighter. We just have to dig a hole and throw your partner down in a hole or something with the kids, and we can just like
Ben and Grem goes live Christmas special.
yeah, we could tour the Tower Hamlets of London.
Yes. Yeah, we could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you've just tuned in, it's the Ben&Grem Show. It's live. It is the 12th of December, not too long away from Christmas. It is 25 minutes past 7 this evening, and at 8 o'clock you will be not seeing me and Grem, because you will more than likely be watching our Prime Minister, who has a breaking news report around COVID at 8 p.m. this evening. So probably do check that out, because it's more important.
Very important, yes.
If for example, we are still live, which is unlikely, but if we are, we will be more than happy to bring you up to speed with what the Prime Minister is saying.
Exactly. I think it might be an ideal opportunity to end tonight's show.
Indeed, it will. Indeed, it will. We have had a wonderful time as always, Graham, haven't we?
It's been a fabulous time. I've really enjoyed this evening.
Yes.
And I've done quite well myself, and I think you are always good anyway.
Well, it takes two, Graham. I mean, we bounce off one another, and I think that's what makes the Ben&Grem Show so unique, isn't it? You have to have a good host and co-host,
Yes.
I think. And, you know, it's interesting because there's always something to talk about. We've said this before. Sometimes it might only seem like we're ever talking about COVID, but actually there are a number of things that's going on in the world, and we want to talk about those things, have a freedom of speech on those things, have people come in and have conversations with us and be able to do so without any feeling of apprehension or worry. You know, this is completely open to conversation, and that's what we like about it, Graham.
Yes. And it's been a delight to have you all watching us this evening.
It is, and it will be
great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we will see you again soon. But I will say, and I'll leave you with this, Graham, and I'd like to say, and it's no affiliation to the channel, but as a big fan of Great Britain News, GB News, 515, channel 515, have a look at it. Keep an eye on what they're doing and talking of, because it's really interesting. You've got different panelists, different subjects around about current affairs, not just COVID.
And it's basically what the monopoly news stations are talking about, but you compare. Just compare both, and you will be pleasantly surprised.
Watch both. Not saying you shouldn't watch any of them, or one or the other. Watch both and see what you think, because actually it's nice to have a different perspective on things. And I think that's what's important about media today, is having a difference of opinion and actually openly having a debate about it on national television.
It's actually based from a centre point of view, and it fluctuates left to right. Isn't it a shame that we can't have a political party that can actually do that?
It's so refreshing though, Graham, isn't it, to see a panel on GB News where you've got somebody on the left and you've got somebody on the right of politics, and they're having a debate and a discussion. You don't normally get that.
No.
And that's exactly what we're seeing.
And it's very polite and
respectful. Yeah. And it's democracy, and we've got to advocate that, and we've got to. So I would say, definitely, guys, if you're not doing anything and you want to watch GB News, do it, because in fact, if you do tune in to watch Boris Johnson at 8 o'clock, I'm guaranteed you GB News will be covering it. Channel 515. That's on Sky. I'm not sure.
Channel 515 on Sky.
Have a look at it, and then see just actually how you come out of it, because you might find that you'll like it. And you get your news as well.
Yeah,
nothing short of information.
So thank you again, guys, for watching us this evening. It's been a delight as normal, as usual.
And we will see you again.
You certainly will. So it's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from him too. And from me.
And me.
And you.
And you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Have a lovely evening. Stay safe.
Yes. Make someone's day special.
Yes.
Yeah, get out there and do something positive for someone.
Indeed.
Tomorrow, of course, because it's getting late now.
Indeed. And we'll see you before Christmas.
Yeah. Hygiene. God bless.
Shh.
Pointless news.
What you got there, Grim?
I'm talking to a plant.
Didgeridoo, isn't it? That's what I thought it was.
It's a lovely, sturdy plant.
It's a yucca plant.
Gorgeous one, mate.
Mm.
And it's detachable.
Your face disappears. Do that again.
Hello, everyone.
Oh. Where's his head gone? Brilliant. You got to love it, innit?
Good evening and welcome to the Ben&Grem Show.
Camera trickery.
Hi.
You could actually pass yourself off as a cartoon character with that. If you put that, cover your head up again. Look at that.
Yes.
Tree man.
Yes.
Oh. Well, there you go, guys. You didn't get your pointless news live, but you've just now got it. Didn't go too far, did it? And the head has got nothing to say.
Thank you, guys.
See you later.
See you later.
See you
Bye-bye.
next time.
Bye-bye.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Shh.
Pointless news.
Should we do another pointless news?
Yes.
I've got nothing to tell you about. Have you got anything?
No, neither have I.
Oh, we'll just go then, shall we?
Yeah, right.
Right.
See you later, guys.
See you later, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Shh.
What, bro? Bye, guy. See you later.
See you later.
Shh.